What is up, guys, and welcome to another video. Now, this is my first Forza Motorsport 7 video on the channel, and I would actually really like to do more of these in the future, obviously if I have time. Because of college and all the work that I have to do, time is obviously very limited. Anyways, on another note, I'm currently racing on Silverstone, or Silverstone, however you want to pronounce it, and I'm racing with traction control, stability control, and ABS off. I'm racing in manual on the Unbeatable difficulty. I also have tire, gas, and damage simulation on, so as I go around the track, gas will be used. The tires will start to wear, meaning I'll get less traction each lap I go around. And if I do happen to get into a crash, that crash will actually affect the car's performance and how well it runs, whether that be suspension, engine, or transmission problems. It will affect the car in some way, and it'll give you a little notification on the side of the screen so you know exactly what's wrong. I normally don't play online, mostly because there's a skill gap between online players, and a lot of them just want to ram you off at every single corner. So that's the reason why I don't really play online, and is also the reason why I only play against the computer on the hardest difficulty. Now, coming down a short straight, passing the Mercedes on the right hand side into a sweeping right-hander, trying to stay on the perfect racing line there, which moves us into third place right behind the Ferrari. Trying to brake as late as I can into that corner, downshifting into second gear with a puff of smoke coming out of the back rear tires. Now we're quickly catching up to that Ferrari up ahead. Now a short little left-hander into a straight. I'm going to try to slip into his draft behind the Ferrari, and eventually I'm going to pull to the right-hand side, complete the pass, brake a little bit earlier than I probably should, just to make sure I don't slide into the side of that vehicle. Do a quick check behind me to see how far he is, just to be sure coming into this corner he won't ram me in the back. Coming around the S-curves, looking for any opportunity I can get to make up some time and catch that golden Lamborghini ahead of me in first place. Coming down the straight, right in front of the grandstands, putting up a 2-minute 10-second .538 lap time for the first lap. And for some reason that no one really knows, the AI in this game always makes first place drive a lot faster than the rest of the pack for some reason. So basically it's a game of passing everyone and then trying to catch first place. It's almost like that every single game for some reason. However, even though we have a distance to go to catch first place, moving up from 9th place to 2nd place in only one lap is pretty good. And now we have a couple more laps just to reel in first place and try to get that pass. Braking into turn 7, feathering the throttle just to make the car rotate a little bit more so I don't go over on the exit. Coming down a curved little straight into an actual straight. Hitting about 154 miles an hour before having to brake into a right-hand corner and getting on the throttle as quick as I can so I can catch up to that Lambo in front of me. Coming up to one of my favorite corners of this track, where you just need to brake, quickly shift down to second, and then shift into third. If you hit that corner right, you can make up a ton of time. And as you guys can see, we are slowly but surely pulling a little bit closer to that Lamborghini with each little run we go on here. We're also extending the distance between us and third place by a significant amount. And as you guys can see in the top right hand corner in blue, our split time is 3.214 seconds quicker than our lead lap. However, that's normal because when you start the race, you're starting around 50 miles an hour and you have to build your speed up. So 3 seconds is about the average on every track for the second lap split time. Rounding the final corner before we start our third lap right behind the golden Lamborghini. Coming up to turn 1, getting as close as I can to the back of that Lamborghini. Shifted down from third to second gear for some reason, causing me to lose a little bit of time opening the gap, but that gap soon closes coming into the next corner. End up going a bit wide and then sliding even wider. trying to go full throttle without breaking through that corner, slide off onto the extra little run. Trying to catch up to that Lamborghini is making me have some mistakes. Going up the left-hand side of the Lamborghini, but having to brake for this corner, so I had to back off just a tiny bit. Into the right-hander, trying to feather the throttle once again through the corner, so I don't have a wide exit. Even then, I am off just a tiny bit, barely keeping 2 tires on the track. But those green areas are runoff areas, so that commonly happens there anyways, and most people just use it to their advantage. I believe the Forza rule is you have to keep 2 tires on the track in order to have a clean lap. Almost completing the pass, and now down the straight, side by side with 3rd place nowhere in sight, just me and 1st place. Completing the pass into that quick right-hander if you do it properly. The back and forth battle between me and the Lamborghini did cause me to be about 0.744 seconds off from my best lap time. However, because the rest of the pack is so far behind us, that really doesn't matter. Hitting 163 down the straight into a sweeping right and starting to pull away from that Lamborghini. At this point, I believe I start to drive more reserved, because what's the point of really pushing the car if you're already in 1st place, because that would cause you to make even more mistakes, giving up more time or sliding into a barrier and not even being able to complete the race. Rounding the final corner before starting the 4th and final lap of the race, and we somehow managed to cut down that positive 0.744 split time to only a positive 0.15 split time by the end of that lap. Braking into this corner, making it a little bit better than last lap. Exiting a little bit too wide, getting 2 wheels into the grass there, even though I'm trying to race a little bit more reserved so I don't make mistakes. At this point of the race on lap 4, my tires are starting to get really worn, as you guys can see in the bottom right hand corner there. I'll probably zoom in the video just so you can see it. That's the area that indicates how your tires are doing. If you want more detailed, you can bring up a HUD on screen that tells you how much of your tire has worn off, obviously changing how much traction you get on the track, so you need to be more careful while braking and cornering, and it ultimately slows down your lap times lap by lap. Coming down the straight with a huge gap between me and 2nd place, and an even larger gap between 2nd and 3rd place. Coming down to my favorite corner of Silverstone, braking and putting it into a little bit of a slide, almost bouncing it off the rev limiter in 2nd gear, and there just bouncing it off of the rev limiter in 1st gear just a tiny bit. Throughout the race, it's been a pretty clean race except for turn 1 at the very beginning of the 1st lap, but that almost always happens 1st lap. For some reason, the AI is a little bit wacky on the 1st turn of every race. Coming around the last couple corners before the race is over and finished, and it looks like we're going to be finishing in 1st place with a 1 or 2 second gap between 2nd place and a lot more than that between 2nd and 3rd place. Just gotta make sure I don't slide off on these last couple corners. Last corner, I believe I kept it full throttle through there with no braking, and across the line to finish in 1st place with a best lap of 2 minutes and 7 seconds. And if you guys enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video.
Summer